Good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly. As always, we appreciate you joining us today. And joining me this morning is Mike Putman that heads up Jasper Main Street. And asked Mike to come and talk about a project that's on the horizon, a project that we hope will become a reality, certainly in its infancy. But we all share the same optimism that it will become a reality. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I think before we do that, it's important to look back and talk about what the revitalization of downtown Jasper has meant to this city. And so many people grasp what has happened here and what is happening. And there's always some that don't buy in, don't understand, gonna complain about anything. But downtown Jasper revitalization, the credit for that goes to Mike Putman and his board of directors. I spent pretty much all of my working life in downtown Jasper, and I've seen it go from something that was nothing short of dead. Today we have a vibrant downtown. Development continues almost directly across from our city hall is a very, very nice project. It's underway over on the east end of 19th Street. We're about to embark on some sidewalk projects to accommodate some development that's going on there. And just in the validation of what I'm telling you is this past week, this past Saturday, matter of fact, I was spending some time with a gentleman by the name of Kurt Gutshaw. Kurt is the Chief Executive Officer for Quality Restaurant Concepts. Quality Restaurant Concepts owns our new Applebee's. Along with our new Applebee's in Jasper, his company owns 61 other Applebee franchises across the southeast. Any way you slice that, that is a major, major operation. Mr. Gutshaw is a very bright individual, wouldn't be where he's at if he were not. He has Applebee's in all sorts of cities, sizes, that sort of thing. And what Mr. Gutshaw told me as we were talking, he said, David, I've been working on this restaurant. Mr. Gutshaw and I have been talking for almost 2 years now about bringing Applebee's to Jasper. But he said, I was just taken aback by your downtown, how nice. He said, I just never dreamed that I would find such a gem when I went to downtown Jasper. But to have a person with his exposure and his intellect and his business savvy to understand what we're doing and understand how it benefits Jasper, he understands how that benefits his new operation in Jasper. So Jasper Main Street has done a tremendous job. It didn't happen by chance. We had to have a vision. We had to have some money. We had to get folks to buy in that we could do what's being done. There had to be a harmonious relationship between government and Main Street. I'm pleased to say that we have that today, and as long as I'm mayor, we're going to have that. That won't change. But today, Mike has a very creative mind, a visionary to put it mildly, and through his vision and the work of others, there's a project, as I mentioned at the outset of this program, that's on the drawing board, on the horizon. We believe it will become a reality. And what I'd like for Mike to do, if you don't mind, Mike, just kind of give the folks an overview of what we've been talking about, what you think may very well happen.
Okay, sure. And you'll see Tallulah from time to time, I guess, go past the camera because she's right here.
Okay.
So right now we have what we're calling the Town Creek Project.
Mike, let's do this so people understand. Town Creek is a stream that pretty much runs through the center of Jasper.
Yes,
it forms up somewhere just north of 78, south of the Trace, doesn't it? And works its way through the middle of downtown Jasper. So that's the stream we're talking about.
And people would love, any downtown would love to have a creek running through their downtown because it brings vibrancy, it brings, it can bring retail and restaurants, but it brings people. That's always, and when you bring people, that's always commerce, and that's what we have to have here and 78. Which, by the way, Applebee's, great win on Applebee's. Love to see 78 growing along with downtown. So right now, the Town Creek project starts right across the street from Maddox and the Board of Education. It's that land that is across the creek from them, and it's across the street from Joe Downs' office. And what we're doing there is we're recreating the park to make it more walkable. We're putting a sidewalk in there. We're planting more trees. We're taking some trees out. Rotary has partnered with us along with the Community Foundation to repurpose the swing set for children, and then we're taking the jungle gym out, but in its place we're putting some more adult exercise equipment. If you've ever been to Railroad Park in Birmingham, there's a section of about 7 or 8 machines that are permanently installed, and that's what adults or children can use to exercise. And it's just a way to bring people into town, and walkability is so important in the downtown area. If you can get out of your car in a downtown area and stay a couple of hours, you are going to spend some money, which is what we want to happen. We want people to come downtown and spend money. We want people to go to 78 and spend money. Right. But what happens is if you can make that walkable, that just adds to everything. And that is currently underway. The city has been very helpful in helping us strip it away so that we can implement what we want to on the plan. That plan's done, and that project is funded through the Community Foundation. Of course, the city is always good with in-kind services on that project, HAP and Rotary. So it's a big project with lots of partners for Jasper Main Street. But then what we want to do after that's completed, or while that's being completed, we want to go on further down the creek. And that next phase would be that space where Scherer Auditorium is and that bank between 17th and 18th Streets on both sides. And the city owns about half of that, and as I said, the city is always easy to work with. And clearly I need to talk to other owners. And then the next phase would be that section between 18th and 19th, which is the old Alabama Power building, which is, as you know, kind of an eyesore right now, but could be a really great space. And it's available for sale or for lease. And then across, Pinnacle Bank owns that property, and they're redoing that themselves to incorporate a bigger parking lot for themselves. And it just goes a little bit further down the creek with where Downtown Foods is. But that's the plan we're working on right now. Now, the park, that's going underway. That should be done this fall. But after that, we're going to present a plan to the city to see if they would like to go ahead and start implementing the next phases of that. But of course, the park will be done this fall. That's going to be a really good addition to downtown. It's just going to make it more walkable. It can connect the sidewalks from 17th Street all the way over to almost to Birmingham, Alabama Avenue right there. So.
Well, Mike, and this is not something that you dream about at night and wake up and try to implement the next day. You've reached out to for professional help that and folks that have done this, that have been successful at it, to hopefully bring together a plan that can be our roadmap in this development.
Right. We have spoken. Jenny Short and I and. Well, David was there, Paul Kennedy was there, months ago, before COVID, brought in some developers just to look at the property. They had done some developing in downtown Birmingham and done a wonderful job, and they were looking for places other than Birmingham to go. So we Jenny had the contact, we contacted them, they came to town. And then they said, well, right now this looks great, maybe we'll get back with you. We have a lot going on in Birmingham right now, let's just talk later. So about a month ago, they called us. I mean, we stayed in touch, of course. They called us and said, can we revisit Town Creek? And so we, of course, had a Zoom meeting with them all, with some potential stakeholders and investors in the project. And then we are going to go ahead and present that plan possibly in November, I think, to the City Council to see if they would like to go with this and implement it. Because, you know, as I've told David many times, Jasper Main Street, and it's because there's so many behind this project, well, every project that we do. Jasper Main Street, to date, has never had a plan that we just put on the shelf. You know, we've always implemented every plan we've ever made, and I don't see how this will be any different. Now, this will be of a much grander scale, for sure, but I don't see how this will be any different than anything we've ever done. And the way that I get some of this stuff done is because I surround myself with people who are a lot smarter than I am, a lot more in touch, people who can help me, help the vision. And I didn't come up with this vision. I mean, we all knew that Town Creek needed to be developed, especially Sharer. That's Sharer. There's so many heartstrings attached to Sharer. But I think that the people have to own it, and I think that they would own this project for sure.
Well, as we look at this plan, you're building a large house, you go out and hire an architect, and the architect expects to be paid. So the folks that Mike are talking with, this firm is an architectural firm of sorts, isn't it? I mean, that's, and in the meetings that I've been in, I've asked about if we get this plan, and there's no way to get the plan today, implement all of it the next week and be finished. This is something that'll happen over probably an extended period of time. I said, is this plan going to have a fairly long shelf life? Because I think that's a reasonable question to ask, and I think so. One of the things that the folks that gathered to meet with this consulting group, they gave us some possibilities of how things could look or whatever. Very, very exciting, and this plan, but the development in and of itself, in all likelihood, will be funded by private investment if the city council, it won't be the mayor's call, agree to make city land available for this development, and that part of it wouldn't be to hand it to somebody for economic gain. That part of the development would be something to expand recreational activities, support the culture of our city, that sort of thing. But what I expect to do in November is call on our council to provide financial assistance to pay for the development of this plan. There are others that are going to be a part of that, and as Mike pointed out, we all need to own this. And with this plan, it puts us in a position to start moving forward, executing the plan. Absent the plan, we can't execute it. It's not something you do piecemeal. And having experts like this that have a strong track record in what we're doing here, then we won't get through it without making mistakes. That just happens. But it'll minimize the mistakes, and the finished product will be a much higher quality than if we tried to go out and what's your opinion, and
right.
try to put all that on a melting pot and whatever. That'd just be a disaster. So I'm excited about this, and as word has reached some folks about the thinking here, the vision here, the excitement is just bubbling over, and if we can make this become a reality, it's going to really be a big, big plus for the city of Jasper.
I think so. But again, as the mayor stated, we just want, and of course we will engage the community as to what they think the needs are for the city in the development of Town Creek. because everybody needs to throw their opinion in there, of course. But then we hand all that over to these developers who've done this many times before in downtown Birmingham, and they give us a plan. And again, like I've said, we've never, to date, Jasper Main Street's never had a plan we threw on the shelf.
And nothing about the plan will be cast in stone. It can be amended, modified, expanded, whatever, as we go along. Is that correct,
Right.
Mike?
That's right.
And
because it has to be something that serves the citizens.
Right.
Something that serves the citizens in Birmingham may not be what serves the citizens in Jasper.
Yeah.
So,
And what we know is ownerships on both sides of Town Creek in this designated, delineated area. There's private ownerships there. Those private ownerships can come into the plan and do things that would be economically beneficial to the landowner or whatever, but it would all fit into the plan, and we can't go in and dictate what to do,
No.
but we would hope that they would buy into the plan, and the folks that Mike's using, they have, not only do they provide these services, they're in the game, they're out in the deep water, they have developments, they're doing for investors, their money, that sort of thing. So you never know who, as this goes along, they may bring to town to do some things. Is that correct?
right, and they help you once they plan and we start implementation. They also assist in finding appropriate tenants for these
Yeah.
spaces. And by appropriate, I mean that fits our market analysis in downtown Jasper, or just in Walker County also, that fits our income levels, that fits our needs, our demographics, those kinds of things. So it's not it's not there's nothing haphazard about it. It is absolutely planned out to the T, but also adjustable as we need to adjust for Jasper and Walker
Right.
County.
Well, just this morning, I talked with our city planner, Keith Pike, and folks that have an interest in doing something in Jasper, retail, residential, commercial, more times than not, those calls go to Keith Pike. Keith's a long-term employee with the city, maybe 25 years. And like I said, I've spent pretty much all of my working life in downtown Jasper. And Keith tells me that never in his career has he seen so much interest by folks looking to size Jasper up and see if it's right for them to do some sort of development. And it's never real to the concrete's poured. I understand that. But when you get on that many of the radar of that many folks, it's just like if you're fishing, if you put enough hooks out, you're going to catch some fish. And so to have this many inquiries, I think there's more things coming. I wrote a letter earlier in the week to Montgomery in support of a project that's looking to locate along 78, Highway 118. Highway access is an issue, and that's and the State Highway Department has certain rules. Whether they'll grant any leniency there or not, I don't know. But this is an international brand that would, if this can work out, would come to our city, and it's just a plus. So I'm excited about Jasper. As I told our council on Tuesday, we'll enter this new fiscal year better prepared than we've ever been. And if you look behind me, you see that the city was founded in 1887, a long time ago. Better prepared than we've ever been to do good things in this city. Are we prepared to do everything that needs to be done? Absolutely not. But better prepared than we've ever been to do things. There was a time when we could not support a project like Main Street has brought to the city. Today we can support that. I'm excited about that. I hope you're excited about it. There's a lot to be excited about. It's what's going on in Jasper. Hope you're pleased that you live here. I hope you'll tell our story every opportunity you get. If you do that, then it's just better for the city. It's better for all of us. So we appreciate having you with us today. As always, I ask you to send us our questions, your questions, I should say, and you can be assured of a prompt answer. So hope your day is good, and we'll look forward to being with you next week.